So if I'm not correct, it's Friday,
Yeah.
beginning of a 3-day week, another excuse to take off work, Rosh Hashanah, right?
Right.
And we're on the 10 freeway heading east. It's a cloudy day. It is September 26th, correct?
Yeah.
27th.
Ugh.
27th. I'm losing track of days.
Yep.
And I'm with Jamie, and she is a psychotherapist.
Yes.
I love it. How long have you been being psychotherapy?
About 6 years now.
And explain to the viewer audience and the moron host here what a psychotherapist is or does.
Well, it depends on what your specialty is, but we help people transition in life, deal with issues, whether that be mood disorders, personality disorders, or just loss of job, loss of a loved one. So we're helping professionals. We help people move forward.
Okay. That sounds... A lot of people need that.
Yeah.
You know, I always felt that people who go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or all the therapists, the reason they're going to one is they don't have a smart friend. Because I think a smart friend, someone who's been around the block, right, can answer a lot of the typical... There's not that many different problems out there, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of problems out there, but they're pretty much the same, you know, love and, you know, the different, you know, emotions out there.
Yes and no. So you could go to a friend. That's certainly an option. If you have a tribe or a circle of people that you care about and they care about you, that's always more beneficial than being isolated. But therapists or psychiatrists, psychologists, they are impartial. They don't have any loyalties to you. You know, usually when you talk to a friend or a loved one, they're going to tell you things that are, you know, rose-colored or clouded by their experience with you, instead of looking objectively at what is really there. You know, so a lot of my work is being a clear and authentic mirror to what someone's experience is. If we're best friends and you come to me with an issue, I have more incentive to caretake,
Right.
to be truthful,
Right.
necessarily.
That makes a lot of sense.
And also, you know, let's say that we're talking and we have a shared person that is an adjutant to you. You know, my loyalties might be split, or my understanding of the situation might be clouded because I have several relationships with all of these people. It's an impartial point of view to a situation, and sometimes you need that.
Well, I've counseled a lot of people because I consider a bit of a life coach after having worked in 81 different professions around the world. I mean, my education, by the way, came from the school Hard Knocks. I didn't go to school. So I learned by people. I learned by meeting a lot of people. And like, for instance, some women will tell me about their marriage problems, and I see it. I mean, I give hard love, you know what I'm saying? I give the truth. And I'll say things that I know that their marriage counselor will never say, because if their marriage counselor tells them what I tell them, they'll be firing themselves. Because at a point, the marriage is over. But they're always going to try to save it, the marriage counselor, thus saving their paycheck for that, you know, that $350 hour session.
I hear what you're saying, but that's a sign of a poor therapist.
Yeah.
If you're a clinician that is confident in what you're doing, your objective is not to save or to tear down a marriage, it's to get to truth.
Okay.
So when I work with couples, it's honestly, that's part of the first conversation that we have all together. I am not here to save you. I'm not your savior. I'm here to distill down to the truth of what's happening between the two of you, and to figure out if there's space to work at mending, or if what we're doing is figuring out a healthy and safe space to separate and end the relationship as it is now. So it's finding a professional who is not, what's the word, tied to the outcome. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
you know, it's about impartiality. You know, you have to be very clear about what your intention is, and know what your role is. People with God complex, they get overly involved and they miss the point. You know, what we do, or what we should be doing, is, moving towards change. Change isn't always comfortable. It's not always fun and happy. It can be very difficult. It can be very painful, but change is necessary for you to grow and move forward. And whatever that looks like is what happens. And so if you're working with somebody who is staunchly on the side of, we're going to save every single marriage, that's someone who has poor boundaries and doesn't understand their position within the context of therapy. You probably need to find a new therapist, to be quite honest.
Well, I think you should always go to 2 or 3 doctors, 2 or 3 mechanics, because there's a lot of people that are just doing things for the money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As for me, I always have a treatment plan. I always have a target date. We always identify what it is our goal is. If we meet it, we meet it, and then we're done.
Well, I think you're far and above the majority, I would say, because I've been around. I've worked in a lot of trades, and I know a lot of people, and it's the chase for money, unfortunately. And people say, "Oh, you got to have a paycheck," and even in Chernobyl, what is it? Overseas, where they had that nuclear meltdown, the fishermen are catching radioactive fish, and they have to make a living, so they cut off the head so you don't see what the fish looks like, and they're selling radioactive fish. Not Chernobyl. I can't believe I can't think of the name.
Is this in Japan?
Yeah, that nuclear meltdown. What was it called?
I forget.
I can't believe I have a whole website dedicated to it. I can't think of the name right now. But at any rate, so there's a doctor in jail right now that sent his patients to chemotherapy, and they didn't have cancer because there's a big kickback when you send someone for chemo. There's a lot of rotten apples out there, but you are certainly not one of them. I'm very happy to meet you because everything you're saying is music to my ears. I tell a lot of people that, there's obviously a lot of single people, they're looking for love. You only need one person to love you. But to be honest with yourself, don't go to a dating site and put yourself 100 pounds lighter, 10 years younger. That's not being honest. If people were just honest with themselves, they'll find the right person. And unfortunately, they don't want to be hurt. So they're not honest. So they put a facade on. And that person falls in love with the facade. And 10 years later, you're going to say, well, I'm going to start being myself now. And then they say, well, who's this? It's like, well, this is the real me. Well, I didn't fall in love with that person, right?
The old bait and switch.
The old bait and switch. Because we don't want to get hurt. It's not fun being hurt. But know that, I try to tell people, know that not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone likes bald guys. Not everyone likes fat guys or whatever it is, I have a friend of mine, he likes the 400 or 500 pound women. That's his thing. Okay, well, there's one out there for him, right? There's a couple 400 or 500 pounders out there. But
there's someone for everyone.
It's just, I don't know. To me, it's a lot of common sense. I mean, and common sense doesn't come. I ask people, what do you think common sense is? And they always say it's not common.
That's true. But if you look at it from a psychological point, there are defenses, right? Like you said, people don't want to be hurt. Who wants to volunteer to be rejected? What I try to teach is self-love and self-confidence. When you come from a space of bettering yourself, it projects outward, and you attract those people who are attracted to people who are helping you. And getting off the apps, instead of trying to hunt down a partner, do what you love, cultivate yourself, and the people that are like-minded will surround themselves.
Brilliant.
And you'll meet somebody.
Love yourself first, because if you can't love yourself, who's going to love you?
Yeah, literally.
So it really is such a. Life is real. I think life is very, very simple, and I think people just make it harder. And I think it's influenced by our parents teaching us fear. That if we don't go to school, we'll amount to nothing. I know a lot of billionaires, and they didn't go to school. So that's not true. If you don't get married by 30, you'll be an old maid. There's just so much fear put into us as a young person. We don't have a super highway to fly down life on. We have a treacherous road to navigate.
Right. Well, I like to break it down into 3 categories. There's the self, the culture, or the family, and then there's the universal experience of being human. When you can start to identify your place in all of those spaces, things become more clear. If like for myself, for example, I used to work in corporate before I decided to do psychology. And it wasn't fulfilling because I had to work 10 hours a day. No matter how many milestones I met, it was never enough because
Right.
I had to meet the next one.
Exactly.
You know? And now I work 4 days out of the week. My life is easy breezy.
You create your destiny. You create your destiny. And if you don't follow your passion, you're just making money, and that's existing.
And it's hollow.
Hollow,
And you
very
feel it
hollow.
because it's not tied to purpose. It's not tied to, this self-actualization, this sense of, becoming. You're not tied to those things. There's no carrot that you can nibble on that will be sustainable, fulfilling.
Well put. I mean, that's what I really enjoy right now is talking to people smarter than me. You're one of them. And learning and sharing. I hope they can hear you though.
I hope so too.
I mean, my voice, I don't need a megaphone for my voice. You do.
I'm a soft talker.
You're a
but
soft
usually
talker.
In a nice,
It's pleasant.
room that's,
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need the freeway, noise.
yeah,
But you ever see that? You ever watch Seinfeld?
I do.
Remember the low talker? Remember that episode?
Yeah. That's me.
Well, no, that's far from you. That low talker, you have to. There's a saying. I don't know if you've heard this. I'm sure you have. If you want to be heard, whisper.
Yeah.
You know that? I lost my voice at times, and you start whispering. They really hear you because
Yeah.
they're trying to hear you at that point.
They're locked in, so it switches the dynamic of attention. Usually our attention shifts every 30 seconds. Or
Oh,
so.
really? Okay.
Yeah, we drift in and out because the mind is so good at filling in the holes, it's rarely noticeable. But yeah, we drift in and out. So when you're having to force someone to pay attention, it's more targeted and concentrated. I used to do that all the time in debate, try to get my point across.
Well,
You just soften a little bit.
I have a
Stop.
couple. I have lots of problems like everybody. I interrupt too much. I finish people's sentences because I know what they're about to say, and I don't have time to wait for them to finish it. So I'll finish it for them. So I'm not a perfect person, but I'm doing the best I can, and that's all you can be asked to do. Do your best. But I'm having a hell of a good time, especially with the young people. They really need just to be positive.
Yeah.
I'm proud to have those 8 teachers that I know of that are having their kids say I am fantastic before class, and it's working. People are, it's really funny on the docks because 3 days a week I'm on the docks with the yachts, and all the Mexicans every time they see me they're washing boats. Right? They're always washing boats, and they all yell "Fantastico!" And just this morning, I think I was at this McDonald's on PCH, I don't know, a month ago. And I had a client in the back, and she wanted to go through McDonald's. So as I drove up to the window, the woman says, "Dr. Fantastic!" And she was, I can't believe that. And she was like, "What the hell?" It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm spreading goodwill, but it's about becoming a better person, however you can do it, and not doing it for reward, doing it because it's good for everyone. It's good for your family, your friends, and the world. But it's the big cities. Now, the little cities aren't so bad because they're more kinder and they're more gracious and, let people in because they're accountable for their actions, right? I tell people, at a dinner party, you're not going to shove someone aside to get to the dinner table because you're accountable for that action, correct?
Right.
For some reason, everyone around us right now don't feel they're accountable. They can honk at us, they can curse at us and cut and flip us off because we're slowing them down, right?
Yeah.
And they're not accountable because they're in the little bubbles or whatever. But I'd like to see that change.
Well, I think it would change if people slow down.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we get, like you said, we get into our bubbles, we get into our egos, and we're only seeing what it is that we want, how things affect us, and it's easy to dehumanize each other. But,
Yep.
what's that? I always butcher a saying, so don't quote me on this. But what is it? When you speak kindly, you're kind. When you speak lovingly, you're loving. more attention into how you present yourself, how do you engage with people, it really does change
Oh, yeah.
how you
Did
feel.
did you read the book The Four Agreements?
I've read it before.
Do you remember them?
Not off the top, no.
Number one is be impeccable with your words, not just what the words you say matter, but keeping your word is also important. The second is never let what other people think about you affect you, because we all have agendas. You know, my opinion about you should not matter in the least, and even your mothers and fathers have agendas. So it's only what really matters what's in your mind. And I like to always quote Rene Descartes saying, "I think, therefore I am." You know. Oh, let me take this real quick here.
Close it.
Okay, everybody, I am looking at the most amazing phone ever. It's the Galaxy Fold, I guess. And look at this thing. The resolution is unbelievable. And it's only $2,000, which is
Only 2,000.
a nice. It's a car, basically. You know, you can buy a car for $2,000. This is the best phone I've ever seen, and I have had a lot of phones. And fold it again. Show it folded.
Oh, what? Spider-Man's in the back of your...
Wow. How's it feel?
Amazing, man. I don't even know what I'm. Is this a computer?
It is. It's everything. It's your movie screen. It's everything. Amazing.
4 ratio students.
By the way, everybody, it came out today, September 27th, 2000. Look at that thing. That is amazing.
For me, you can't even do.
That is the coolest phone. It's like a flip phone again.
Take pictures. Like
So either
that.
way, you turn it either way. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Wow, that is Samsung. I got to give it to you. So I just got back to the apartment. That's my apartment in the bottom middle, and we had this incredible view of the marina. And my wife's been saying for a long time, wouldn't it be great if that tree wasn't there? And guess what? This tree fell on a person who's very deserving of it, and it fell on his cars, and I'm so happy for that. But the tree just fell apart. Look at this. Amazing. This makes the view of my home incredible now. My wife is going to be so happy when she hears this. That was a very nice Mercedes. I don't like the guy that owned it, but that was a very nice Mercedes. And there's my little dog, Cookie. Cookie! What do you say, little guy? What do you think about all that? What do you think?